Rated T for Teen.
When I do choreography, it's very closely tied in with music. The movements that come across are very much closely related as far as beats, tempo. You get a certain feeling depending upon if it's fast or slow. And it's the same when you're watching the fight scenes.
One of the biggest challenges of creating the video game version of Jason Bourne was to capture the fight style.
What I think the audience appreciates about Jason Bourne as far as his fighting method is that he's very efficient, fluid, nothing that looks awkward in the way he moves.
There's no wasted energy. There's no wasted movements. There's no wasted breaths.
Jeff Amata did the fight choreography and designed the fight styles for the Supremacy and the Bourne Ultimatum. And who better to help us recreate that style for the game?
It's based on the art of Filipino Kali and Bruce Lee's concepts.
We have technology called motion capture, and motion capture gives us the ability to really capture realistic human motion. We had Jeff come into our mocap studio. He brought over his own stunt team and basically choreographed and directed the performances so that we were able to really capture that look from the movies.
It's one thing to read books, and it's a completely different thing to watch the movies. But what we really wanted to communicate and what we really wanted to put on screen wasn't just that you're watching the character or reading about the character, you're literally becoming Bourne. You're becoming that character.
Right off the bat, I could tell that the concept art was fantastic. This was something that they had worked on for a long time. It was their secret baby, and they knew that would be a fantastic game. And sure enough, I mean, when I started seeing the cut scenes that they had, it just blew me away.
You don't really know much about him. He's really mysterious, but he's still a hero, and like it's violent too. I really like violence in comics, and this is actually a really violent book. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of splatter and action.
Wildstorm publishes a line of comics under DC Comics. We have a number of different artists here, all of whom I've handpicked and hired over the years, and all of them have different skills. And so some of them work on just straightforward comic books, others do concept art for video games, but everyone has the same passion for comic books and drawing and art. It's an awesome work environment, and I think anyone that's worked here can tell you, like, it's one of a kind.
I love zombies, I love monsters, ghouls, all that crazy stuff, and I was just inspired just by the art that I've already seen for the game. But I was very surprised at what I saw that's already been done, that's already been established for this game. It really inspired me, just some of the new stuff that they've created. The craziness of some of their characters, you know, just nasty, out of like your worst nightmare, and I just, went with it, just had fun with it.
All right, what I'm working on currently is a page from the prototype comic where you basically see a human that's been infected with the virus and they're now transforming into this creature. In my story, I try to kind of tie it into the real world while portraying it very kind of cinematically, I hope.
Alex Mercer is the main character. He has a really cool look, and it's very, very contemporary. And then in the art I saw, he's like running up the side of the buildings, and he's got these gigantic claws out, and there's thousands of soldiers after him, and it's just like, wow, they're really shooting, for the sky on this.
What if there was a game where you could control time?
Time Shift is a game about being able to slow, stop, and reverse time.
Everything in the game world has been built around these time powers.
You're doing everything possible to not only reclaim time, but save your own destiny and get back to the world that you know.
Multiplayer in this game is insane.
The hook of the game, which is the ability for the player to manipulate time, that's the coolest shit ever.
My name is Matthew Karsh, and I'm the CEO of Saber Interactive and one of the founders of the company. I used to practice law once upon a time, and I worked with a lot of Russian clients, and one day 2 guys who had their own 3D gaming technology walked into my door, and before you knew it, I was dropping law and I was working with them. I was a lousy lawyer anyway.
I think the biggest change from 8 weeks to now is sort of just an overall filling in. First, you sort of notice a few growing, and then, you know, more in other places. They're longer, they're fuller, they're definitely darker. Just every category of what you want to be improved has happened. The lashes are now so much more prominent than they were before. It's really been across the board. Like people that I know well, people that I don't know so well, family, friends, everybody noticed. I just think you're always surprised when something does work, when it does do what it claims to do. And so my expectations were exceeded. I don't want to stop using Latisse. I mean, I think that you get to a certain point, and this is what this was the plan, and we photographed it and documented it in commercial and all that, and now I just want to get to live with them.